I hit L.A. with a backpack, a piece of steel in one hand, and a can of mace in the other. And guys were trying to sell me joints everywhere. And then some black guy turned me on to the bus station. So I found the bus station, and there'll be a song all about the bus station on our EP called 1 in a Million. And then I rode all around Fullerton, thinking it was just the smallest city I had seen, and I would find Izzy. I rode the bus for like 2 days. Never found Izzy.
I just saw a picture of Izzy and Axl. I said, "Slash, if we get these two guys and another bass player, we could have the best rockin' band." And it was for Flyers where we saw them. And we went to the show, and I was right. And we asked them.
We ran an ad for a heavy metal punk glam guitarist, blues influenced. And Slash showed up, and we said, nah. But he kept popping up everywhere we were at, and all of a sudden we started working together.
And I moved to California, and I wasn't that good of a guitar player, really, to be like, because there's a million guitar players in LA. And then my drum kit was just, it was a piece of junk, you know? So I said, okay, I'll play bass, just to get my foot in the door. And this is the door I stepped into.
We were the only 5 guys that could have made up Guns N' Roses. I mean, we had different combinations of us in different bands, you know, throughout the time we were coming up and getting it together. We couldn't, there was nobody else in LA we could have played with, so it was inevitable that the 5 of us would get together because that was it. I mean, there was no other combinations that were going to work. And eventually, you know, there was enough people that had known us over the years that we were able to have a following and go in, and we worked our way up. We started Tuesday, then a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. As soon as we got to Saturday nights, we were headlining, you know. And so then a year of headlining, we were signed.
On August 29th, 1987, Guns N' Roses released Appetite for Destruction, a dark, violent album with explicit lyrics and controversial topics. The album's original cover art, featuring a Robert Williams painting, was banned from record stores in the United States. The songs described life in the seedy Hollywood underground, including tales of rebellion, drug addiction, and paranoia. Against all odds, Appetite went to #1 on the charts and sold over 12 million copies worldwide.
Everything's about something that happened to one of us or something. And I think kids really dug into that, you know? It's about real stuff that they deal with. I mean, kids today in America, there's crack, heroin, you know, there's, you know, pregnancy at 12, there's AIDS, you know, there's just all this heavy stuff.
So I think a lot of it has to do with advertisers and advertising dollars and what radio stations will play so they don't lose advertisers. It's got greedy and institutionalized. That's what's happened to it. I think that's why we're doing so well, because we're sort of like a shot in the arm for the rock, you know, for rock and roll. We're not trying to promote, you know, drug abuse or anything like this. It's very scary. I mean, it almost killed us. It almost broke this band up. It's almost, you know, it killed a few of us a couple times. You know, it's something that we stay away from. And it's like being here in New York, you know, we've had some bad experiences here before. And, you know, and you just have to be really careful because, like, a lot of people take all kinds of meanings out of your songs, which has nothing to do with the fact that basically it's about something that happened in your life 2 years ago.
Axl turned another life experience into a song on the band's follow-up EP, GNR Lies. 1 in a Million is an odyssey through downtown LA's jungle of urban decay. The lyrics contain a racial epithet and derogatory references to immigrants and homosexuals.
A lot of people just take the time to assume that when a white person uses the word nigger, it's meant at the whole black race, and you're derogatory and you're a racist. I don't think people take the time to listen to the third verse and figure that one out, because it says radicals and racists, don't point your finger at me. I'll be asked about that word for the rest of my life. We were more prepared to fight to the death and go down in flames than to make it. We were going to do anything to make it. We were ready, you know, with our own morals and values, we were just ready to fight to the death for it. Thing is everybody we had seen on the majority of bands that we had grown up around had gone down in flames or, you know, ended up breaking up and stuff without being, like, financially successful in the business. And then all of a sudden, we did succeed financially and everything. I think we were more unprepared for that than anything.
Persistence pays.
I sent in 325 postcards and I won.
Winner plays.
Shoot the dab! Shoot the dab! Oh, Tammy! Woo, Tammy!
Tammy says.
People really win on MTV.
I am the soldier. I am skilled and smart. I've got the training, and I've got the heart. I'm the defender of our liberty. I am the soldier. Count on me. Rising to the challenge, whatever it may be. I am the soldier. Count on me. Whoa, just take those off.
There was this elementary school that we used to hang out at, me and these guys that we used to ride together. And we used to go, like, cut open the fence, and there was these banks in the school that skateboarders used to use, and we used to use them with our bikes. It was when pool riding first became popular.
I met Slash, I was at a little elementary school riding my skateboard.
Just this kid on a skateboard went flying one day.
It fell off and hit my head on the ground. It was a good 7-foot drop, too.
The ground came rushing up to meet him at such a pace, I was like, oh, this guy's got to be wounded.
And he said, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah." And I met him in school. My teacher was chasing me around the room and chased me into his room. His teacher was yelling at him. And
that was right before we ditched the entire 7th grade together.
And then after the class was over, we got together and sang King Tut on the 3rd floor railing of the school, right on the edge of the little railing. And the teacher came out and freaked, and we were friends ever since.
That's how we met, and we've been friends ever since.
I had a guitar and a little amp, and I invited him over, brought him in my grandmother's bedroom, showed him with 1 chord and 1 scale, put my Kiss record on, did all my Ace Frehley positions.
Izzy was Izzy since junior high, you know, Isbell, Izzy. You know, and I remember he had on his sheet behind his drums, Izzy! You know, it was great. And everybody knew him as Izzy.
Everybody's name kind of suits them.
I had it since I was 2. My parents gave it to me. I don't know how they came up with it, but it stuck. It's my name now.
Bonehead?
Yeah, Bonehead.
A friend of mine's dad used to call me that whenever I came over, my best friend. I used to come over and he'd go, "Hey, Slash," and it just sort of like stuck. Axel came along as the name of the band, which my friend used to write down. My friend Dave Lank wrote down names of bands. Him and Mike Staggs and Roger Miley. And we always thought of names of bands, and he had this page of like hundreds of names they thought of for names of bands. One day they called me up and they said, "Got a name for a band, Axel," and like, I don't know, world was coming down on me in my house, and it's like, I answered the phone, and I was like, "What do you want?" He goes, "We got a name for a band, Axel. How should we spell it?" And I was like, "AXL, click." I grew up in the music business. I grew up pretty heavily in it, so I always had, from what I can remember, I always had a real fascination with it. You know, it was just, I loved the environment, and I loved the people, and I loved equipment, you know, and things to mess around with, and like, anytime we go to rehearsal, I'd be on the drum set or the guitar, any of that stuff I've always had an affection for. We had the Bailey Trio. Me, my brother, and sister, and we worked out 3-part harmonies, and we'd get up in front of church, and we'd sing, like, some gospel hit of the 70s, a little bit more rocked out than the actual hymns, you know, but I was like the bass then, you know, I was like, "One more time, Jesus, lift my heavy burden." It was so much fun. It was really weird to think about that. We looked so geeky. My mom tried to get me to take piano lessons, which I couldn't stand. And it didn't last very long. And I think I played not harmonica, recorder, you know, that flute-like thing. in 5th grade or something, which I wasn't really into either. A little bit too lightweight an instrument.
My family is a pretty musical family also, so I'm the last of 8 kids, you know. So basically, it's like my mom just said, just do whatever you want to do, you know. So I did it.
Whatever you may need, if you got the money, honey, we got your disease. If you know, welcome to the jungle, what you bring is wrong.
He'll be very quiet and stuff most of the time and really won't let a lot of himself out until he picks up the guitar. And then his heart and soul seems to pour out through the guitar.
Oh, I practice every day, all the time. I have a set at home. You know, I have it in my backyard. Thank God. You know, it's not soundproof enough for my neighbors, but, you know, either which way. It's great. I love playing. I have to play every day.
I never, like, sit down and practice my bass, you know? So, like, halfway through the gig, I finally get warmed up, because I never sit there before the gig and play the bass, you know? When we're on tour, I get a lot better, you know, because I'm playing every night. But when we're off tour, it's like the thing gets dusty.
I can't do those woo things that Rod Stewart does, like in Hot Legs and stuff, no matter how hard I try. Voice teachers ever, I can't, I don't know how to say what it is I can't do. That bugs me to death.
Hey, I wish I could sing. I can. Scream real good, though.
See, I was never really a bass player at all. I was always like a guitar player or a drummer or something. And joined this band, played bass. Now I love playing bass, you know. I've gotten into, like, the next stage. Okay, you can play bass, but how well can you play?
Didn't own anything, you know. You know, we didn't have cars, we didn't have anything, you know. It's like, what, you mean I'm gonna have to change the oil? I mean, you knew that, but you never had one of your own. The maintenance is, I mean, Slash has, like, called me at times and gone, I got this house and my refrigerator's leaking all over the place, and I feel comfortable just leaving it that way. But I know I can't do that, because this is my house.
I mean, I'd never even had a car before. I'd never bought a car before. And so actually being able to go out and buy a car, you know, it was pretty cool.
I own a car now, you know, which is something, you know. My name's on the registration.
I got a nice car, kitchen car.
The guy's intense. The guy's way intense. He's got a driveway around this place. He's got like 5 acres in this pond and everything. He's got this driveway around it, so immediately he goes out and buys all of these go-karts and stuff for all his friends so they can get drunk, and all the neighbors are just like going, every house is for sale around Izzy's house now, and nobody can touch him. It's out of the city limits. They can't, you know, then they go outside and he's shooting off his AK, and it's pretty intense. You can come into my house on a given day and find a snake in every room.
I got 2 dogs, 2 Chinese pugs, little dogs. They're really Benson and Buster. I love my dogs.
Pythons and boas, emerald tree boas, and reticulated pythons and blood python, and Burmese python, and carpet pythons, and African rock pythons, and anacondas, and all this stuff. And then I've got another, I had like a bookcase that I converted into another snake tank. It's got tree boas in it and stuff. It's cool. It's a lot of fun.
I have 2 dogs. Yeah, 2 yellow labs. Yeah, Chester and Chloe.
Well-trained.
Well-trained dogs, yeah.
The band wants me to bring Torque on tour because he's fun to party with, because he's fun. The dog is fun. He's this little dog. He tries to attack Akitas and things. He's 4.5 pounds. He'll get bit in half. but he's like gnarly and he's fun. And they wanted me to bring him on tour, and I'm like, who's gonna clean up? And they went, well, that is a problem, you know. And it's like, I'm like, I can't do it. There's no way.
MTV's stirring something up.
Liquid television.
A new half-hour series of the coolest animation on TV.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Take cutting-edge cartoons, plop in a few surprises, add some spice, and shake. Sunday nights at 7:30, only on MTV. Liquid television. TV that melts in your face.
Here we
I want to be back on the road so bad.
Oh, life's the bad. Where should we go on the road? I want my bus. I want a bus. Dougie, where's our bus?
I'm not bragging or anything, but something about we can turn a Coliseum into a club, you know? I don't know what it is, but that's what happens.
And we generate a weird type of excitement. I mean, Izzy put it best, when you're doing a ballad and people are killing each other in a crowd, like in Weedsport, New York, beating the crap out of each other, something's wrong. We don't really understand it. We like the energy, you know, and everybody likes to see a good barroom brawl or something. But when it turns into such a mess, I mean, a barroom brawl is a movie. It's not real life.
There's some fierce stuff happening there, you know? There's a lot of pain and a lot of violence, you know? When we get together, there's a lot of violence and you know, it's just a lot of stuff. We've lost a lot of friends. Last couple of years together, all of our, you know, we've lost some friends. I'll let them know. You know, it's a lot of stuff we've gone through together, and we get on stage, all five of us together, it comes out.
The rest of the band will bounce back quicker after a show. And Steven, you know, runs the dressing room, wants pizza, and he's out to find the girls and everything. It's like, I need about an hour to pull my head back together. Because every song I sing, when I'm singing it, at the same time I'm like dealing with the crowd and stuff, I'm also thinking about the situation when I wrote the song, which could be 9 years ago, and where that person is now. All this stuff's going through your head like a million miles an hour. You know?
Toured for like a year before the album broke. So when it broke, I mean, it broke. And we were on the road, and it was just weird, you know? It's weird. We'd get back on the bus. Our album's #1.
I mean, for a bunch of kids to come off Sunset Boulevard and then end up on the road and then turn into like one of the biggest bands in the country, you know, which wasn't overnight, but the actual success part happened so quick. It was such a mind blower, and especially when we got off the road and you're recognized everywhere, and you go into a record store, you go to a gas station, and people recognize you in your car, you know, and all that stuff. It's a real shock. I mean, it definitely, you know, set one over on me. It threw me for a loop.
I knew what I knew until I was 23. Now I've learned a whole new life in 2 years. A whole different life, you know? So it's just dealing with that, it's just kind of weird. I'm not complaining, you know, but it's weird. It's like cramming 8 years of college into, you know, a week.
And since so much really bizarre stuff has happened to us over the last year and a half, 2 years, with that, there's a lot to write about.
I feel I have responsibilities to myself and to the music and things I want to do with it. Like, you know, trying to relate to as many people and help open their minds up and at least make them think. I'm not telling them we can save the world, but I can kind of describe the world and, you know, and just at least let them think about it. you know.
People might listen to the album and think it sucks, but I think the songs are really good, and there's really no pressure on us, you know, the success of the last record, you know, there's absolutely no pressure on us at all. You know, maybe if we only sold 50,000 copies or something, there would be, but, and even if that happened, we'd say screw you to the record company, you know.
As far as I'm concerned, the new material is great.
It's a lot darker, a lot darker.
It's killer. I dig it.
I hope this album's more successful because I just want to bury Appetite. You know, it's like, I like the album, but I'm sick of it. I don't want to live my life through that one album. I have to bury it. So, rather than just throwing a bunch of songs together that we think are fun, we're going over it, you know, with a fine-tooth comb and just working on everything to try. That's the goal, bury Appetite.